Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 68.
Okay, so let's set the scene for you. You've got Sun Quan at Ruxu Pass, and he's basically looking out at this massive storm approaching.
That storm being Cao Cao, one of the most powerful figures of the time on the march.
He's just come from Hanzong, relieved the siege at Hefei, both really key strategic spots.
And now he's bearing down on Ruxu with, well, the number is just staggering, 400,000 soldiers.
Wow. That's immense pressure, almost unbearable for Sun Quan and his forces.
It really is. But what's striking is Sun Quan's response. It's decisive. He doesn't just sit back.
Right.
His first move isn't passive defense at all. He immediately gets Deng Xi and Xu Sheng out there with 50 large naval vessels.
We control the waterways.
Exactly. He gets the strategic importance of the river. And then Shen Wu is tasked with patrolling the riverbanks. It shows, an immediate grasp of the terrain.
A multifaceted defense. And in this, incredibly tense atmosphere, that's when good advice is crucial.
Absolutely.
His advisor, Zhang Zhao, gives him this key piece of advice. Now that Cao Cao has come from afar, we must first frustrate his spirit.
That's interesting. Not just defend, but frustrate.
Right. With 400,000 men coming at you, how do you even start to frustrate their spirit? I mean, beyond just stopping an attack, what kind of move does that?
That's a really profound strategic insight from Zhang Zhao there. He's seeing that Cao Cao's army, despite its size, has marched a long way.
So they're tired.
Likely fatigued, yeah. And their morale, while probably high because of the numbers, might be, vulnerable to something unexpected. So frustrate his spirit means doing more than just holding the line. It suggests a psychological strike, something to sow doubt, confusion within that massive army.
So it sets the stage for something bolder, less conventional.
Precisely. Not just meeting force with force, too. Gan Ning's audacious gambit, the 100-rider raid.
And this is where the story just ignites, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That call to frustrate their spirit, it sparks this immediate, pretty heated argument in the War Council. Ling Tong steps up first. He suggests a vanguard attack, but with 3,000 men. Seems reasonable.
Relatively speaking, yes.
But then, this voice cuts through the room Gan Ning, and he boldly claims only 100 riders are needed to break the enemy.
Just 100? Against 400,000, that's audacious is the word.
Astonishing, right?
Yeah. Now, Sun Quan, he's a pragmatic leader, so initially he's cautious, warns against underestimating Cao Cao.
Makes sense.
So he first sends Ling Tong out with his 3,000 men, sort of reconnaissance, test the waters kind of thing.
And how does that go?
Well, Ling Tong proves he's a great warrior. He engages Cao Cao's top general, Zhang Liao, in this really fierce duel, 50 rounds.
50 rounds, wow.
But even Ling Tong, formidable as he is, needs Lu Meng's reinforcements just to retreat safely.
So it showed Ling Tong's skill, but also just how strong Cao Cao's forces were.
Exactly. It set a clear benchmark for the challenge.
And yet, even after seeing that, Gan Ning doesn't back down one bit.
Nope.
He goes back to Sun Quan, dramatically repeats his claim. 100 riders. And get this, he promises no loss of a single man or horse.
That's an incredible promise. The confidence.
Sun Quan must have been impressed. He grants him the 100 elite cavalry.
And not just the men. He gives him 50 bottles of wine and about 66 pounds or 30 kilos of lamb for his troops.
Is that just standard provisions or is there more to it?
Oh, it's much more than just food and drink. It's a massive morale boost.
Wow.
It's Sun Quan basically saying, I back this plan. It elevates it from just a risky idea to a fully endorsed mission.
Okay.
And then you get this incredible leadership moment from Gan Ning right before the raid.
Tell us about that.
He gathers his 100 guys. First, he drinks 2 bowls of wine himself. Puts himself out there.
Leading by example.
Totally. Then he draws his sword, looks at his men. Some are probably hesitant, right?
Understandably.
And he asks them really sternly, I, a high-ranking general, do not value my life. How dare you hesitate?
Wow. Powerful stuff.
It completely galvanizes them. This personal challenge, it inspires every single one to pledge, to die in service. He's leading by sheer force of will.
And the raid itself, it's legendary.
It really is.
Middle of the night, right? Second watch? 9 to 11 p.m.
Yep, pitch dark.
These 100 riders, they've got white goose feathers on their helmets so they can recognize each other.
Smart detail.
They charge straight into Cao Cao's camp. They break through the defenses, the deer antlers.
Those wooden barriers.
Shouting, killing their way right into the heavily fortified Central Army area, which the text says was protected by chariots like an iron barrel.
So right into the heart of it.
Not just a skirmish on the edge. They burst in, riding left and right, causing absolute chaos.
Cao Cao's soldiers must have been terrified, caught completely off guard.
Totally panicked. They didn't know how many attackers there were, started fighting each other in the confusion.
Classic psychological impact.
And after sowing all this disarray, Gan Ning and his 100 riders break out through the south gate.
And the promise.
He made good on it. Not a single loss, man or horse.
Incredible. Just incredible.
The return must have been something else.
Oh, it was celebratory. Drumming, flutes, shouts of long live, and Sun Quan himself comes out to greet Gan Ning. Personally. Praises his bravery, showers him with gifts, 1,000 bolts of silk, 100 fine swords.
Huge honors.
And then Sun Quan says those iconic words, Mengde, that's Cao Cao, has Zheng Liao, I have Ganqing Ba Gan Ning, enough to match him.
Wow, comparing him directly to Zheng Liao, that's massive praise.
It's an incredibly rare honor, basically acknowledging Gan Ning as his equal to one of Cao Cao's very best generals.
So the core insight here is?
It's that audacious confidence when it's combined with focused psychological warfare, perfect timing, and that unwavering personal example. It really can unravel overwhelming odds.
It wasn't just winning a small fight.
No, it was about breaking the enemy's spirit, completely shifting the morale on both sides.
That psychological impact, the boost for his own troops, and just the sheer disruption for Cao Cao. Game-changing from just 100 riders.
Absolutely. It's a testament to targeted audacity over just brute force.
3. The Arrow of Friendship, saving Ling Tong. And that legend, that raid, it had an immediate ripple effect, didn't it? Not just on Cao Cao's army.
No, definitely not. It really inspired Sun Quan's side.
Especially Ling Tong, right? The one who argued with Gan Ning earlier.
Exactly. Inspired by Gan Ning's, stunning success, Ling Tong now eagerly volunteers. He wants to face Zheng Liao's challenge the very next day.
Leading 5,000 men this time.
Seems he was keen to prove himself after Gan Ning's feat.
Understandable.
So this sets up another intense duel. This time, Ling Tong against Li Jin, another one of Cao Cao's top generals.
How does this one go?
Another tough fight. 50 rounds again, no clear winner. But here's the critical part. Cao Cao gets directly involved.
Oh, how so?
He's watching from his command post, sees the stalemate, and he secretly orders his nephew, Cao Zhu, to fire a cold arrow.
A sneak attack in a duel.
Yep, treacherous. That arrow hits Ling Tong's horse, the horse collapses, Ling Tong is unseated, and Li Jin moves in for the kill.
So Ling Tong is completely vulnerable.
Utterly. It looks like the end for him, a direct violation of typical dual honor. Really shows Cao Cao's ruthless side.
But just as Li Jin is about to strike,
something truly remarkable happens. An arrow flies out of nowhere.
Gan Ning.
Gan Ning's arrow strikes Li Jin right in the face, saves Ling Tong's life in the absolute nick of time.
Incredible. From his former rival, what a turnaround.
The impact of that single arrow, you really can't overstate it. Ling Tong is obviously deeply grateful. First to Sun Quan, who points out Gan Ning was his rescuer.
Ah, so Sun Quan made sure he knew.
Yeah, and then Ling Tong goes personally to Gan Ning. He bows, pledges life and death friendship.
So their feud is over. Just like that.
Completely over. That long-standing animosity, just gone. It's fascinating, isn't it? How a moment of shared crisis, especially one involving saving a life, can totally transform bitter rivals.
And allies.
Unwavering allies. It shows the power of shared experience, having a common enemy to forge bonds that just supersede old grudges.
It really is a powerful illustration. How that intense stress of battle can strip away the old stuff and reveal something deeper, like loyalty.
Uniting people for the common cause. 4. Cao Cao's retaliation. The 5-route attack and valiant sacrifices.
Okay, so Cao Cao's plans are being frustrated. His generals are being challenged. One even wounded by Gan Ning. He's not going to take this lying down.
Not a chance. His frustration over Gan Ning's raid, the stalemate, Li Jin being wounded, it boils over.
Into a massive counterattack.
Massive is right. He launches this huge coordinated assault. 5 routes, each with 10,000 men.
50,000 total.
At least in this initial wave, yeah. And Cao Cao himself leads the center route.
He's putting himself right in the thick of it.
Absolutely, with his top generals commanding the flanks, Zheng Liao, Li Dian, Xu Huang, Pang De. It's an overwhelming show of force designed to just crush Sun Quan's defenses.
And amidst these huge army movements, the story often focuses on individual acts, right? Sacrifice and desperation.
Exactly, and that's what we see here. As Cao Cao's armies advance, you get Xu Sheng on the tower boats. His troops are fearful, understandably.
Facing that onslaught.
Right, but Xu Sheng rallies them, shouting, "Eating the Lord's salary, fulfilling the Lord's duty, why fear?" And then he leads hundreds of men across the river to attack Li Dian. Brave.
But then there's tragedy, too.
Yeah, the tragic fate of Dongji. He gets caught in a sudden storm while on his boat.
Oh, no.
The ship starts sinking, men are trying to flee, but Dongxi refuses to abandon ship.
Loyalty or something else.
An extreme form of loyalty, maybe duty. He actually executes over 10 of his own soldiers who were trying to escape.
Seriously?
Yeah, trying to maintain discipline even as the ship goes down. But ultimately, the storm is too much, the vessel capsizes, and he drowns.
Wow. That's a unyielding, almost brutal loyalty. Fatal in his case.
It really highlights the brutal expectations of command back then.
And the cost keeps mounting, doesn't it? Chen Wu gets involved, too.
Right. Chen Wu hears the fighting, brings his forces to the riverbank, and ends up engaging Peng De directly.
Another tough general.
Very tough. In the chaos of battle, Chen Wu gets isolated. The story says his robe gets caught on a tree branch.
Caught, so he couldn't defend himself.
Exactly. Snared, unable to move properly, and Peng De seizes the opportunity and kills him.
Just awful. These moments really hammer home the human cost. You've got Xu Sheng's calculated attack, Dongxi's absolute fatal resolve, and Shen Wu's tragic end in direct combat.
V, the indomitable Zhu Tai, a shield for his lord.
So amidst all this fierce fighting, the counterattack, Sun Quan's side taking heavy losses, Sun Quan himself ends up in serious trouble.
Yeah, his life is literally hanging by a thread at one point.
Yeah.
He gets surrounded by Zhang Liao and Zhu Huang's forces.
2 more top generals.
Right. And then Zhu Chu, another one of Cao Cao's powerhouses, leads a charge that splits Sun Quan's army, leaving him critically exposed.
So the leader himself is cut off, surrounded, the battle's turning badly against him.
It really looks dire. But this is where Zhu Tai steps up, and his actions become legendary. Defines that bond between lord and general.
What does he do?
Okay, so initially, Zhu Tai actually breaks out of the encirclement with some of Sun Quan's troops.
So he got away.
He did, but then he realizes Sun Quan isn't with them. He's missing.
Oh, no.
So without hesitation, Zhu Tai charges back into the fighting.
Back into the encirclement he just escaped.
Exactly. He fights his way back in, finds Sun Quan, and literally uses his own body as a shield.
Wow.
The text says he took numerous spear wounds and arrows through heavy armor, protecting his lord, just soaking up the damage.
Unbelievable self-sacrifice.
And it doesn't stop there. After getting Sun Quan somewhat clear, he sees another general, Xu Sheng, the one who rallied his troops earlier, is still trapped.
Xu Sheng is trapped now, too.
Yeah. So Zhu Tai charges back into the fray a third time to rescue Xu Sheng.
The third time, that's almost superhuman, risking his life repeatedly.
It's an incredible display of loyalty, determination, saving not just his lord, but his fellow general, too.
But they're still in a bad spot, right? How do they finally get out?
Just when things seem darkest, Lu Shun arrives.
Reinforcements.
Big time, 100,000 troops. And it's perfect timing, too, because Lu Meng's archers, who were providing cover, were running out of arrows.
So Lu Shun's arrival turns the tide.
Completely. His fresh forces repel Cao Cao's attack, forcing him to finally retreat. It saves Sun Quan's army from what could have been a total collapse.
The aftermath of that battle must have been intense.
Incredibly poignant. Sun Quan is grieving deeply for Dongxi and Chen Wu, the generals lost earlier.
Right.
But then he holds this special, really moving banquet specifically for Zhu Tai.
To honor him.
Absolutely. Sun Quan personally pours wine for him, pats him on the back, even sheds tears acknowledging his sacrifice.
He says something significant, doesn't he?
He does. He declares, "You are my meritorious official, and I shall share glory and shame with you, weal and woe."
Wow. Share glory and shame, weal and woe. That's more than just praise.
It's like a solemn vow, recognizing this unbreakable bond, placing Zhu Tai almost as an equal in their shared destiny.
And then there's that famous scene with the scars, right?
Yes. A moment just etched into history. Sun Quan asks Zhu Tai to take off his upper clothing.
In front of everyone at the banquet.
Yes, and it reveals skin just covered in scars. The description is like carved, rooted all over his body.
Jeez. A roadmap of his battles.
Exactly. And Sun Quan points to each major scar, asks Zhu Tai its story, which battle it came from.
And Zhu Tai tells him.
He does. And after each explanation, Zhu Tai has to drink a gong wine.
What's that?
It's like a special toast, traditionally given for great merit or achievement. So after recounting each near-death experience, he drinks.
Leaving him profoundly drunk, the story says.
Profoundly drunk, yeah. It's this almost ritualistic acknowledgement of his suffering, his courage, turning his wounds into, like, badges of honor.
A map of loyalty.
Beautifully put. And to make sure everyone understood this high honor, Sun Quan gives Zhu Tai a blue silk parasol.
Hey, parasol.
Yeah, sounds odd, but it was a potent symbol back then. Public veneration. He could carry it wherever he went, showing his elevated status.
So this whole episode, Zhu Tai's story, it's more than just bravery.
Oh, much more. It's a profound look at that bond between a lord and his most loyal general, the core insight. That absolute loyalty shown through repeated self-sacrificing acts creates a bond so powerful it elevates a warrior beyond just being a soldier.
He becomes something more.
Almost like a revered familial figure. Those scars, they aren't just wounds, they're a physical record of shared sacrifice. And to Sun Quan, they were clearly worth more than any treasure.
They're his legacy, really, a living testament.
Absolutely. 6, the price of peace and a principled stand.
So these incredible acts of heroism, the back-and-forth fighting, it defined the battlefield. But this went on for a month, right? The stalemate at Ruxu.
Yeah, a whole month of intense, costly fighting.
And that kind of prolonged warfare has a huge cost, doesn't it? Not just in lives, but resources.
Immense. And that brings us to the political side. Because the battle for supremacy wasn't just on the field, it was also happening, behind the scenes.
So the advisors step in.
Exactly. The human and material cost was becoming unsustainable for Sun Quan. His advisors, Zhang Zhao and Gu Yong, they see this grim reality.
And they advise peace.
They advise seeking peace, yeah. They even suggest offering an annual tribute to Cao Cao.
A tribute, like admitting defeat.
More like a strategic concession, a way to stop the bleeding, prevent further draining of their strength. It's pragmatic.
And does Cao Cao accept?
He does. Cao Cao is a pragmatist too. He recognized just how hard it would be to conquer Jianlan quickly, especially after seeing the fierce defense.
Gan Ning's raid, Zhu Tai's stand. It must have given him pause.
Definitely. But he has one condition. Sun Quan has to withdraw his forces first. Then Cao Cao would follow. Allows Cao Cao to save face after this long, costly campaign didn't result in victory.
Okay, so the fighting stops. Cao Cao goes back to Xuchang. But the political maneuvering doesn't stop there, does it?
Not at all. Back in the capital, the gears start turning. Cao Cao's officials, seeing his immense power, start pushing for him to be named King of Wei.
King of Wei, that's a big deal. More than just a title, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. It's a clear, deliberate step towards eventually usurping the Han Dynasty. It signals his intention to basically take imperial power for himself.
But not everyone agrees. There's opposition.
There is. And this is where we see a different kind of courage. Shangshu Guiyan.
What's his role?
He is a high-ranking official, a minister, and he staunchly opposes this move. Even when Cao Cao's supporters confront him.
What does he say?
His words are quite defiant, considering the circumstances. He says something like, "Times change, things will shift. Let them do as they please."
What's the implication there? Is he just resigned, or is he being critical?
It sounds like deep, unshakable loyalty to the Han Dynasty and maybe contempt for Cao Cao's ambition. He's essentially saying, you guys can chase power shifts, but my principles, my allegiance to the real emperor, they don't change.
So he's challenging Cao Cao's legitimacy at great personal risk, presumably.
Immense risk. And the core insight here, I think, is that principles can be a battlefield too. Just as real as Ruxu Pass. Guiyan chose to stand for an ideal, even knowing he was defying the most powerful man in the land.
And does he pay a price for that stand?
A grim one, yes. His opposition gets reported back to Cao Cao, who is, predictably, enraged.
So Guiyan is arrested?
Arrested, thrown in prison, and even in prison he doesn't back down. He boldly denounces Cao Cao as a tyrannical traitor.
Wow. Straight to his face, metaphorically.
And for that, he's beaten to death in prison.
Just beaten to death. A tragic end for standing on principle.
It truly is. Later, a poem memorializes him, praising that unyielding loyalty to the Han. It's such a stark reminder that courage isn't only found with a sword in your hand on the battlefield.
Sometimes it's found in just refusing to compromise your moral compass.
Absolutely. It shows how the battles for power stretch way beyond the front lines. Political ambition has its own price, and for people like Guiyan, integrity meant making the ultimate sacrifice. His story really stands as a testament to conviction, even when it ends tragically.
We're in the summer of 216 AD. It's the 21st year of Jianan, 5th month. And Cao Cao, his power is, well, it's undeniable at this point, peak influence.
Absolutely. And this isn't just a random point in time. It's strategically crucial. His ministers, they see the writing on the wall, politically speaking. They start praising him, saying his merits surpass even legendary figures from antiquity. This wasn't just flattery. It was a calculated move to legitimize his rule, his de facto control. They were basically paving the way for the Han Dynasty to eventually fall and for him, or his line, to take over. It's about establishing a whole new basis for authority. And Cao Cao, being the master strategist he was, he gets this completely. The sources lay out this whole formal process, right? Emperor Xian, who's basically Cao Cao's puppet, orders the decree making him Wei King. But Cao Cao does this elaborate dance. He declines the title 3 times.
Right.
And the emperor, playing his role, refuses the declines 3 times. Only then does Cao Cao accept. It seems so theatrical. What's the real point of that?
Well, it's absolutely critical for legitimacy in that context.
Yeah.
You couldn't just take power. You had to be seen as receiving it, ideally reluctantly, almost like heaven itself was insisting. This whole triple refusal, triple acceptance thing, it cemented the idea for the public that Cao Cao wasn't just grabbing power. He was, destined for it, perhaps even hesitant. It creates that mandate.
That makes sense. And with the title came all the symbols of power, the 12-stringed crown, the golden carriage with 6 horses, things usually just for the emperor. And he starts building this grand palace in Yi County. But with all this new power concentrated in one person, the next big question has to be succession, right?
Yeah.
What did this mean inside his own family?
Exactly. That becomes the burning issue. Who inherits this new kingship? And believe me, the internal politics were just as fierce as any battle. His main wife, Lady Ding, no kids. A concubine, Lady Lu, had a son, Cao Ang, but he died in battle.
Right, I remember that.
So that leaves the sons of Lady Bian. There's Cao Pai, the eldest. Then Cao Zhang, Cao Ji, and Cao Xiong. They're the main players now.
And the sources really highlight one of them, Cao Ji, the 3rd son. He sounds like a real prodigy, super intelligent, could whip up amazing writing on the spot. Cao Cao apparently loved that.
Yeah, he was definitely a favorite, which naturally made the eldest son, Cao Pai, feel pretty threatened.
Understandable.
Right, so Cao Ji had the flair, the literary genius, but Cao Pai, he had cunning. And he goes to Ji Shu, this incredibly sharp strategist, for advice, and Ji Shu cooks up this brilliant, subtle plan.
Okay, what was it?
Super simple on the surface, but very effective psychologically. Whenever Cao Cao was heading off on campaign, Cao Ji would give these, eloquent speeches praising his father, showing off his intellect. But Cao Pai, Ji Shu told him to just weep, bow deeply, look incredibly sincere and emotional. Pure political theater.
Wow, that's quite the contrast. Did it work?
Like a charm. Cao Cao started to get a bit suspicious of Cao Ji's cleverness. Maybe it was just superficial flair. But Cao Pai's tears, they seemed like genuine, deep feeling, sincerity. And Cao Pai didn't stop there. He apparently bribed some of Cao Cao's close attendants to, subtly drop hints about his own virtues. A quiet little campaign running in the background.
So it all comes to a head when Cao Cao finally asks Ji Shu straight up, who should be my heir? What does Ji Shu say?
This is the genius part. Ji Shu just pauses. Doesn't answer immediately. When Cao Cao pushes him, Ji Shu says something like, I was just thinking about Yuan Shao and Liu Biao and their sons.
Ooh, that's pointed, incredibly pointed. Yuan Shao and Liu Biao, powerful warlords whose families basically imploded because they messed up the succession. Ji Shu isn't giving an opinion, he's giving a stark warning.
Don't make the same mistake.
Exactly. Implying that choosing anyone with the eldest, Cao Pai, risked that kind of disastrous internal conflict.
Brilliant. And Cao Cao got it.
Instantly. The sources say he laughed, understood the warning immediately, and boom, made Cao Pai the official heir.
Wow. Talk about high-stakes family drama playing out like a chess game. You really see the strategic mind, even in something so personal. But just as Cao Cao thinks he's got everything settled, things are about to get really weird.
Fantastical, even.
Okay, fast forward just a bit. It's now winter, 10th month, same year, 216 AD. The Big Wei King's palace is finished. Cao Cao's focused on his garden, getting rare plants. He sends people all the way to Wu, Sun Quan's territory, and then Wenzhou just to get these special oranges.
Right, and Sun Quan, knowing Cao Cao's power, sends back like 40 loads of these huge choice oranges. A gesture of respect,
Yeah. So the oranges are on their way back. And this is where it happens, right? The porters carrying them, they stop for a rest at the foot of a mountain. And they're approached by this peculiar guy. He's blind in one eye, lame in one leg, wearing a white rattan crown, a blue robe. Very distinctive.
Okay.
He offers to help carry the loads for a few miles. And here's the strange part. After he touches the loads, the porters say they actually feel lighter. Miraculously lighter.
Right.
And just before he leaves, he tells the official in charge, I am an old acquaintance of the Wei King. My name is Zuo Qi, courtesy name Yuan Feng, Taoist name Master Blackhorn. Tell Cao Cao I send my regards.
Okay, that's not just some random act of kindness, is it? Offering help, making loads lighter, dropping his name in connection to Cao Cao. It feels deliberate.
It absolutely feels like a calculated introduction. Yeah. It's like a calling card, but delivered with this impossible feat. He's announcing himself, showing a hint of his power before he even gets near the palace, setting the stage. So the envoys finally get back to Yi County. They present the oranges to Cao Cao. He's probably pleased, opens them up himself, and
every single one is just an empty shell, hollow.
You can imagine his reaction. Fury, disbelief. What is going on?
And then, right on cue, almost like he timed it, a guard announces that a man calling himself Zuo Qi is at the gate asking for an audience.
The timing is just perfect. Too perfect.
Exactly. So Cao Cao, already deeply suspicious, brings him in, accuses him straight up. You use sorcery Yaoshu to mess with my oranges.
And Zuo Qi's reaction?
He just laughs, takes one of those same empty oranges Cao Cao opened, cracks it open himself, and it's full of perfectly sweet fruit. But all the ones Cao Cao opened, still empty.
That's messing with his head right from the start, directly challenging what he just saw.
Completely. Cao Cao is astonished now. He offers Zuo Qi the seat, starts asking questions, and Zuo Qi just keeps demonstrating these extraordinary abilities. Drinks, like 5 dew of wine that's a lot doesn't get drunk, eats a whole sheep, isn't full.
Incredible stamina, or something else entirely.
Right. He then explains he studied Taoism for 30 years up on Yimai Mountain, got these 3 mystical books, the Dunjia Tian Shu, heavenly books of Dunjia.
Okay, what are these? What powers do they supposedly grant?
Well, according to Zuo Qi, they're pretty cosmic. The top one, Heaven's Escape, lets you fly on the clouds. The middle one, Earth's Escape, lets you pass through solid rock. And the bottom one, Man's Escape, lets you travel anywhere, change your shape, even take people's heads with flying swords.
Flying swords. Okay, so he's not just showing off eating and drinking capacity. He's claiming mastery over, well, everything. Heaven, earth, man.
Precisely. He's laying out the scale of his power, which is completely outside Cao Cao's very practical military political understanding of the world.
He's basically saying, your rules don't apply to me, and then comes the offer, or challenge.
Both, really. Zuo Qi boldly tells Cao Cao, give up all this worldly ambition, retire, come study Taoism with me, I'll teach you the secrets of these heavenly books. Cao Cao, naturally, tries to play along, pretends to be interested, but says, oh, I can't, I have duties to the court.
Right. The polite refusal.
But Zuo Qi cuts right through it. He says, essentially, fine, if you won't retire, then yield your position to Liu Bei. Liu Bei, Cao Cao's arch rival in Yizhu.
Whoa. That's hitting him where it hurts.
And then he adds the kicker. If Cao Cao refuses, Zuo Qi warns he'll use one of those flying swords to take his head.
Okay, that's gone from weird to openly hostile, political threat wrapped in supernatural menace.
It's the ultimate insult, really. He's dismissing Cao Cao's power, his legacy, his carefully chosen heir, everything, and suggesting his biggest enemy should take over. Backed by this otherworldly threat, he's attacking Cao Cao's entire reality.
So Cao Cao's reaction is predictable, I guess?
Explosion. Pure fury. Accuses Zuo Qi of being a spy for Liu Bei, orders him arrested immediately.
But arresting Zuo Qi isn't going to be simple, is it?
Not at all. The guards, like 10 of them, beat him savagely. The text says he just sleeps through it. No injuries, no pain.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So Cao Cao thinks, okay, maybe physical force isn't enough. He orders this huge wooden cane, the heavy neck and handstock secured with iron nails, chains, throws Zuo Qi in a dungeon. No food, no water, for 7 days.
That should break anyone.
You'd think. But when the guards check, Zuo Qi's just sitting there looking fine, maybe even healthier, face flushed red. And the cane, the chains, just lying on the floor beside him, miraculously removed.
Unbelievable.
And then he apparently boasts he could go decades without food or eat 1,000 sheep in a day if he wanted. At this point, Cao Cao is realizing his prisons, his guards, his usual tools of control, they're completely useless against this guy.
It's a total clash of power systems.
Yeah.
Earthly authority versus something else. What must Cao Cao be thinking? His whole world must be shaking.
You have to imagine pure frustration, maybe even a flicker of fear. Everything he understands about power is failing him.
And just when you think it can't get stranger, Zuo Qi hasn't been broken, hasn't been contained. So what does he do next?
He crashes a party. A grand banquet Cao Cao is holding for all his top officials in the brand new palace. Zhuge Qi just strolls in, uninvited, still wearing those wooden clogs he had on earlier. Imagine the scene.
The sheer nerve after being imprisoned and tortured.
It's beyond nerve. It's a calculated public humiliation. In front of his entire court, Zhuge Qi is basically demonstrating that Cao Cao has zero control over him. He's systematically dismantling Cao Cao's authority, spectacle by spectacle.
So he walks in. What happens?
He strolls up, bold as brass, and offers to procure anything the feast might be lacking. Anything at all.
And Cao Cao, maybe still trying to test him, or maybe just furious, challenges him.
He does. He says, "Fine, I want dragon liver for soup, a mythical creature possible to get."
And Zhuge Qi
takes an ink brush, draws a dragon on a nearby white wall, waves his sleeve, and the drawing's belly splits open, and he pulls out a fresh, bloody dragon liver.
No way.
Cao Cao, still skeptical, accuses him of hiding it up his sleeve. Zhuge Qi just ignores him. Zhuge Qi says, "Anything else? How about a flower? Remember, it's deep winter. Everything outside is dead." Cao Cao asks for a peony.
Okay, another impossible request.
Zhuge Qi grabs a flower pot, sprinkles some water in it, and instantly a full peony bush grows, complete with 2 blooming flowers, right there in front of everyone.
The officials must be losing their minds.
Absolutely. Then later, they're serving fish slices. Zhuge Qi casually remarks, "Ah, fish. Pity it's not Songjiang perch. That's the only truly delicious kind."
Which is what, rare?
Very, and found thousands of miles away. Cao Cao scoffs like you could get that now. So Zhuge Qi grabs a fishing rod, goes to the fish pond right there in the palace garden, casts his line.
Don't tell me.
Pulls out dozens of huge, beautiful perches moments later.
Okay, but Cao Cao must think, these are just the fish from my pond.
That's exactly what he says. Smugly points out they're his own fish. But Zhuge Qi has the perfect comeback. He says, but how can you tell? All normal perch have 2 gills. Only Songjiang perch have 4 gills. Check them.
4 gills.
4 gills. The astonished officials check. And sure enough, the fish Zhuge Qi caught have 4 gills. Impossible, but there they are. Each feed is just more targeted, more impossible.
He's systematically destroying Cao Cao's sense of reality piece by piece. What else could he possibly do?
Well, he then says that 4-gilled perch needs a specific seasoning to be cooked properly. Purple ginger shoots, another rare item.
Of course it does.
Cao Cao challenges him again. Zhuge Qi takes a golden basin, covers it with his robe for just a second, whips the robe off, and the basin is full of fresh purple ginger.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
But wait, there's more. As Cao Cao reaches for the ginger, something else appears in the basin. A book. Meng De Xin Shu.
Wait, isn't that?
Cao Cao's own secret military treatise, his commentary on the art of war, something deeply personal and probably highly classified. He opens it. It's identical to his original.
Okay, that's not just magic anymore. That's like mind reading or teleportation or something. That's deeply unsettling, a violation.
Exactly.
Okay.
It shows Zhuge Qi can penetrate even Cao Cao's most private thoughts and possessions. There are no barriers for him.
What could possibly top that?
The final act at the banquet. Zhuge Qi takes a jade cup, fills it with wine, offers it to Cao Cao. "Drink this, your majesty," he says, "and live 1,000 years. Immortality."
The ultimate prize. Does Cao Cao take it?
He hesitates. He's suspicious now, deeply distrustful. He demands Zhuge Qi drink first.
Smart move, maybe.
So Zhuge Qi takes a jade hairpin from his crown, draws a line down the middle of the wine in the cup, and the wine magically divides into 2 perfect halves.
Whoa.
He drinks 1 half himself, offers the other half to Cao Cao.
And Cao Cao.
Refuses. He's enraged now by the perceived disrespect, the trickery, the whole impossible situation. He rebukes Zhuge Qi harshly.
So Zhuge Qi's final move?
He dramatically throws the jade cup up into the air. It transforms mid-air into a beautiful white dove. The dove circles the banquet hall.
Everyone's watching the dove.
Exactly. All eyes are looking up, amazed. And in that moment of distraction, Zhuge Qi vanishes. Just gone.
Wow. What an exit. The ultimate mic drop.
It's the grand finale. He doesn't just leave, he transcends, transforms, disappears, leaving chaos and confusion behind.
You can just feel the tension break, the mix of awe, fear, confusion among the officials, and Cao Cao.
Utterly humiliated,
Ugh.
furious beyond words, he immediately summons his toughest general, Xu Chu, gives him 300 armored soldiers. The order is clear. Find this sorcerer and eliminate him. He's too dangerous.
The gloves are off now. He's going for lethal force.
Right. But the fascinating thing is, every time Cao Cao escalates using conventional power guards, prison, now soldiers, it just serves to highlight Zhuge Qi's unconventional power even more. Each attempt to control him fails spectacularly.
So Shu Chu and his soldiers ride out, they spot Zuo Qi.
Yep, just calmly walking along in his wooden clogs. Shu Chu and his men are on horseback, remember? They charge.
And they catch him easily.
Nope. It's bizarre. Zuo Qi just keeps walking at this slow, steady pace. But no matter how fast Shu Chu rides, he can't close the distance. Zuo Qi is always just ahead, out of reach.
That's mad.
Totally. The chase leads them up into the mountains. And then Zuo Qi just walks into a flock of sheep and disappears among them.
Vanishes again. Shu Chu must be livid.
Enraged. He doesn't know which sheep Zuo Qi might be disguised as, or if he's even there. So he orders his men to kill the entire flock.
Brutal. But does it get Zuo Qi?
Well, a shepherd boy starts crying over his dead sheep, and suddenly one of the severed sheep heads lying on the ground speaks to the boy, tells him to put the heads back on the bodies.
Okay, that's nightmare fuel. The boy must have run screaming.
He does. But then Zuo Qi calls out, "Don't worry, I'll give you your sheep back." The boy looks back, and Zuo Qi is there. All the sheep are alive again, perfectly fine, and he's herding them away. Then poof, he vanishes again, moving incredibly fast.
Resurrection. Talking sheepheads. This is completely off the rails now.
It's pure, unadulterated, supernatural defiance. Life, death, reality, none of it seems to constrain him.
So this news gets back to Cao Cao. He must be desperate now. What's his next move?
He orders drawings made of Zuo Qi, the clothes, the clogs. He posts them everywhere. Capture this man.
A kingdom-wide manhunt.
But the result is, well, it's chaos.
Yeah.
Within 3 days, they haven't caught one Zuo Qi. They've caught 300 or 400 men, all matching the description exactly, inside the city, outside the city, everywhere.
Hundreds of identical Zuo Sis. How is that possible?
Mass illusion. A bizarre conspiracy. Cao Cao assumes it's just more magic, more deception. So he orders them all rounded up, takes them to the southern training ground.
What's he planning?
He orders his soldiers to douse all these lookalikes with pig and sheep blood. It was believed back then that this could dispel illusions or harm spirits. Then he personally leads 500 soldiers to oversee a mass execution.
He's going to kill them all, just to be sure.
It seems like it. He believes it's the only way to get the real Zuo Qi or break the spell. So the soldiers start beheading them, hundreds of them.
Grim. But then something even stranger happens.
Something utterly astounding. As each head is severed, a stream of green cheese-like life force or energy rises from the neck.
Green tea.
Yes. And all these hundreds of streams of green energy float up into the sky. And they merge, they converge, and coalesce into one single, giant, unmistakable figure of Zuo Qi, hovering in the air above the execution ground.
Oh my God. He basically reformed himself from the life energy of the illusions.
That's what it seems like. It's the ultimate mockery of Cao Cao's attempt to destroy him. He literally reconstitutes himself in the sky.
What does this Sky Zuo Qi do?
He summons a white crane out of nowhere, mounts it, claps his hands, laughs out loud, and shouts down a prophecy. Earth Rat follows Metal Tiger. The treacherous hero will perish someday. A clear prediction of Cao Cao's doom.
A final curse. And Cao Cao's reaction, shoot him down!
He orders the archers to fire, yes. But as they draw their bows, a massive gale suddenly blows up. Wind, sand, stones flying everywhere. Chaos. And then, the truly horrifying part.
There's more.
All the hundreds of headless corpses down on the ground. They start to get up. Each corpse picks up its own severed head. And they start shambling, running towards the viewing stand where Cao Cao and his officials are, carrying their own heads, ready to attack.
An army of the undead, led by Zuo Qi's prophecy from the sky.
Exactly. Utter pandemonium. The civil and military officials, they just lose it. Screaming, covering their faces, falling over each other in sheer terror, complete breakdown of order.
And that's where the chapter ends.
That's the cliffhanger. Cao Cao surrounded by reanimated corpses, Zuo Qi predicting his death from the sky. The final lines just hang there. The treacherous hero's power could overturn nations. The Taoist immortal's magic was even more extraordinary.
Wow, what an absolute mind-bending story. Just incredible.
It really is.